they could learn just what kind of animal he was. So the first one happened to put his hands on the elephant's side. Well, well, he said, now I know all about this beast. He is exactly like a wall. The second felt only the elephant's tusk. My brother, he said, you are mistaken. He is not at all like a wall. He is round and smooth and sharp. He is more like a spear than anything else. The third happened to take hold of the elephant's trunk. Both of you are wrong, he said. Anybody who knows anything, you can see that this elephant is like a snake. The fourth reached out his arms and grasped one of the elephant's legs. Oh, how blind you are. It is very plain to me that he is round and tall like a tree. The fifth was a very tall man, and he chanced to take hold of the elephant's ear. Well, the blindest man ought to know that this beast is not like any of the things that you named, he said. He is exactly like a huge fan. The sixth was very blind indeed, and it was some time before he could find the elephant at all. At least he seized the animal's tail. Oh, foolish fellows, he cried. You surely have lost your senses. This elephant is not like a wall, or a spear, or a snake, or a tree. Neither is he like a fan. But any man with a particular sense can see that he is exactly like a rope. Then the elephant moved on, and the six blind men sat by the roadside all day. And they quarreled about him. Each believed that he knew just how the animal looked. And each called the other hard names because they did not agree with him. People who have eyes sometimes act as foolish. This short story, written by African-American author and social critic James Baldwin, illustrates a daunting reality for many of us that are living in this community, in this state, in this nation all the time. That reality is that we're walking around with our eyes wide shut. How often do we approach the issues and challenges in our communities by fighting over perspectives as opposed to dealing with the realities before us? If ever there was a time for us to come together and open our eyes so that we can see, that time is now. We are on the dawn of a pivotal moment in the history of African Americans in the United States of America. In 2017, this country will say goodbye to its first African American president, who will return the reins of power to an Anglo-American or Hispanic American, whomever he or she may be. This proves to be pivotal because there will be a great evaluation of the progress of African Americans living in this country over the last 8 years. With this evaluation, and depending on the outcome of the election, there will be an attempt to roll back some of the progresses that have been made for our community. The question that lies before us is, will we be ready? Or will we act as the blind men, foolishly bickering and fighting for a seat at the master's table while we watch the rest of our communities get the scraps? 8 years after President Obama's office, there is still much work to be done in the fight for social justice and economic equality in this country. In the last 8 years, we saw the birth and emergence of the American Tea Party. Born out of a mantra that we want our country back, the question still lingers, which is, from whom is it you would like your country back? What's most alarming about this is not only the emergence of the Tea Party, rather its ability to completely hijack a major American party. We face the possibility of an extreme ideologue taking up residence in our White House. The leading contenders on the Republican presidential ticket are jockeying for a position to see who can hate the most. What is even more fascinating about that is that the person currently leading in the race has somehow managed to offend every set of society that is not white, male, or Christian. Foreign nations have created movements to potentially ban Donald Trump from their countries due to the hate that's coming from his mouth, and yet the American Republican Party will potentially make this person the nominee to be president of the United States and even more frightening, leader of the modern free world. If there ever was a time for us to open up our eyes so we can see, that time is now. 8 years after change, we can believe in it. 8 years after being powered by hope. 8 years after America showed us that what they wanted was not a country made up of red states and blue states, but a country of United States. 8 years later, and we find ourselves in a country more divisive than it has ever been since the American Civil War. How did this happen? When did this happen? On September 15, 1963, Annie Collins, Cynthia Weston, Carol Robinson, Carol Denise McNair were preparing for their Sunday school lesson in the church basement at the 16th Street Baptist Church in Birmingham, Alabama. 3 of the girls were 14 years old. One of them was 11. They never left the church that day. His hate prevailed. And they lost their lives at the hands of white supremacists who bombed the church, killing 4 beautiful black babies. On June 17, 2015, in South Carolina, Emmanuel African Methodist Episcopal Church, Cynthia Marie Graham Burke, Susie Jackson, Ethel Lowland, the Payne Middleton Doctor, Sharonda Coleman Littleton, Tawanda Sanders, Daniel Simmons, Myra Thompson, the Reverend Senator Clementa C. Pickens. See, you have to say the names because they're real people. Just a headline. They were preparing to have a Bible study. Welcomed in a stranger. That stranger later unleashed one of the most heinous and hateful acts of terror in modern history against African Americans. 9 people lost their lives in a house of worship. From 1963 to 2015, the motive was the same. Hate. We have to open up our eyes and see that we can't move forward to defend ourselves and our children from these types of attacks until we come together and realize that the battle is not over. We certainly can't get anywhere by sitting blindly and trying to determine the characteristics of the elephant in the room. The real elephant in the room is that we're not prepared to stand for what is right, for what is just, and for what is decent. From 1963 to 2015, it was still the policy of the time that allowed for the deaths of our people. Our president has called for reforms in our gun laws, but we have to open our eyes and see that he can't do that alone. This is a television show that you just watch and you believe that it's just all going to go away after you turn it off. Ferguson, Charleston, Houston, And our children have to die before we come together and say enough is enough. Yes, Black Lives Matter, but that has to be more than a slogan. It has to be a call to arms for us as leadership to empower and organize our communities to fight for local, state, and national policies that will protect our families. That means that we have to have the courage and the wisdom and the fight to replace elected officials in our communities that are not carrying out their duties. Look, I'm a political consultant by trade, and I have to be many of our elected officials in the office, but I make it abundantly clear that me helping you get elected is not a free pass to just run around. My expectation, like yours, is that you will do what is right by the community. When it fails to happen, then I'm obliged to have to move anyone that I have to get elected. It becomes then my duty because I have to understand that I was a part of the problem that created the situation in the first place. It's enough of us being sold down the road with the same old tired talk. We keep getting the tired talk because it works. At some point, we have to open up our eyes and make sure that it's actually working in our communities. And when we discover that it isn't working, that we aren't better than we were when we close our eyes, we have to take action. I believe that true progress is one work is staring us in the face. If you can't look around your communities and see changes, then that means that nothing ever happens. It's pretty simple. And it's okay. I believe that when the social contract is signed between the voter and the politician, that both sign that contract with good intentions. But like any other contract, if you don't perform the duties that you're contracted to, then you are fired. People get fired today. Other time. It's not a statement of who you are as a person. It just means you're not good at the job we hired you to do. The other side of that is that we have to be prepared and willing to help those elected officials that are being effective for our community. They need our help. They can't do it alone. One of the most fascinating things, and really not in a good way, that I see Dr. Allen doing also during the legislative session is how many of us that don't actually come and participate there in the process when much of it affects us. Hearing on issues like public education, I can literally count the number of African Americans in the room. It was one of those situations, you know, when you walk in and you see another brother, and he see you, and you glad he there, and he glad you there. And there might be about 100-200 people in the room, but you just give that one brother the head now. So that you both know something go down without each other. But on issues like public education, we were silent. Good people of HSBU can't do it alone. We can't do it alone. Who do you think the students in HSBU are? With only a 9% Anglo population. Meanwhile, those folks were there, standing behind their Tea Party leaders when it came time to roll back progress on those issues that positively affected us. We can't afford to continue to conform to complacency on issues that will affect our communities for generations to come. That's really what got me into public policy. It is the architecture of society whereby structures are created that can have dynamic effects on populations. That's powerful. Yet we never pay attention. We never believe, but for a few, that we have the power to be the change that we want to see because our eyes are closed. And the eyes are useless when the mind is blind. But when we open them, we realize what a young senator from Illinois taught us, which is that we truly are the ones that we've been waiting for. The time is now for us to open up our eyes, come together, and come up with a community plan that's going to truly bring about meaningful change. We have to call for an end to the bickering amongst our leadership and the jockeying for position. We have to end complacency and help to educate our people on the real elephants in the room. This isn't just for you, it's for me too. While during this month we celebrate Black history, we also need to reflect on the notion that we have the power to make history. A chosen generation. People that can change the world. David wrote in Psalms, only observe it with your eyes, and you will see how the wicked are paid back. So we're thinking goodbye ain't done. While the journey continues, we will come this far because we are people of resilience. We are people of faith. We are people of power. And I encourage everyone present to keep the faith, to continue to fight, and our truth will march on. Dream your dreams with your eyes closed, but live them with your eyes open. Thank you.